I'm Dr. Deepak Govil, and we have a department of GI surgery at Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, and we have a team. This is Dr. Vivek Tondon, and we saw this patient who, Jane, who came to us with a problem of biliary leak. She had a tube placed in her abdomen, and from that a lot of bile was coming out. She has had multiple treatments outside, which included a previous surgery, a previous endoscopy, and she had good treatment in fact outside, and she was fairly well managed outside also. But after that, she had a persistent problem of leak, and the tube was draining good amount of bile for a longer period. So we investigated her and treated her, and I think I'll talk about the treatment once she describes her problems. So I'll just give it over to Jane to tell us about her problems.
I'm Jane Jeptum from Kenya. Jane Jeptum from Kenya. And my first operation was because of gallstones. Because of removing that gall duct, so I had a second operation in Kenya, in Eldoret, and we came to Aga Khan Hospital in 2013, the third operation. Then I developed in 2014, I developed hernia, surgical hernia, and I had to be operated again. When the hernia subsided, so I had a lot of problems. I felt very cold sometimes, very hot sometimes, and I had to be hospitalized. And they treated me many diseases like TB, and it was not like that. So in 2017, October, I went back to a doctor called Dr. Chacha in Nairobi, and I was put a tube. He is a radiographer, and he told me to go home. Then I'll come after another 1 month. And that the whole month, the bile was coming out 2 liters per day. So we had to console our friends. And there's a friend of ours who is called Anne, brought another friend of hers called Esther, who was treated in Apollo. And that is how we came to know about Apollo. And when we interacted with an agent who is called Philip, this is where we had to come to Apollo.
So maybe I can just summarize what Jane has described regarding her medical illness. Essentially, she had a gallbladder removal, and during that operation there was an injury to the tube, which is called the bile duct, which brings the bile from the liver to the intestines. Because of that injury, they had to do another operation to create a new passage into the intestines. Unfortunately, over a period of time, this fresh passage that had been created, which is called a hepatico-jejunostomy, had become narrow, and she was not able to bring bile from the liver into the intestines. This is what was the reason for her having repeated episodes of feeling of cold, fever. This was because of infection. The doctor in Kenya did very well to temporarily divert her bile with the help of a tube, which is placed in the liver and is called a PTBD tube in medical parlance. When she came to us, we evaluated her and found, after doing an MRI, that there was a narrowing of that joint as we had suspected, and because of the narrowing, she had also formed stones in that area. So essentially we needed to redo the passage and create a fresh passage which was big enough and was draining the entire liver into the intestine. Jane has been a very brave and patient patient and has gone through a lot. God has been kind, she has done well. Her present liver functions are also much better, and we hope in the future she stays well also.
Because when I came, the bile was running out, so I had no fevers. But when I had the surgery, oh, that was very painful. After the surgery, I remember finding myself in an ICU. So everywhere I'd had tubes, hands, here, in the legs I did not know what was there. So I just told God, now where am I? And after recovering that pain slowly, so I tell the doctors, thank you, because that pain now have gone, and what was there before has gone too.
Are very cooperative and help a lot. We'd like you to say a few words about...
I am David, husband to Jane. I think much has been said. But I want to say the reception we got here, first reception, when we arrived at the international, I think it is called international launch. Gupta brought me to Dr. Govil, and that was, what he did was very good for us, because he said admit them. Because when we were admitted, I knew the treatment was coming very near because of what she was going through. And so after that, it took some process. We were admitted there were no beds, but apparently the hospital decided to give us a single room, which we were not qualified to be in. But because of the distance and because she was very tired, we stayed there for a week. You remember when you came, we were there, but they did not even charge us for being in that single. So I think that was very good. The secretary, Twinkle and Prakash, they have been very good. Every time we make appointment, they have really helped us. Even when we were coming for tracing, they have really helped us. And so I think the staff here, doctors